Hi, everyone. Happy Hustle Show. Thursday, the 22nd of April. This is going to be my last Happy Hustle Show for a week because on Monday, I am running my 5-day Find Your Perfect Side Hustle Idea Challenge. If you haven't already participated in that, come along next week. The link is beside this video. It is hpy.tips, TIPS /hustle. Get yourself registered for the challenge because it is my absolute favorite week of the quarter. I usually do them about 4 times a year. Favorite week of the quarter. I get to not be in my day job at all next week, except for one half-hour meeting that I had to squeeze in today. But apart from that, I get to not be in my day job. Hi, Laura. You're in it. Yay. Hello, Liz. So I get to do like a full week of happy side hustling. The ambassadors who are coming in are amazing. And I've got a new idea. I'm just trying to get it to work, but I think it's going to work, where there's going to be some, so I normally do prizes, but I'm going to do them in a different way. So I found a bit of software that I think is going to help me with that. So it's going to be, if you've been before, come again. Why not? Sometimes in people's side hustle journey as well, I talked on Monday about your side hustle evolving. Sometimes people are at a point where they go, okay, I've set up this thing now, and I'm not sure that's it. I don't totally, because remember, I make you choose one on the last day of the challenge. So you might find that although you now understand the process of setting it up and how to be visible and, all the lessons you will have learned along the way, that you might want to relook at, is this definitely the right side hustle for me for now? Because remember, none of these are forever, and your side hustle is likely to evolve. It's really unlikely you're going to pick the perfect thing at the end of a 5-day challenge when you didn't even think about setting up a side hustle like a few days before that, and never change it. But what's brilliant is that for those of you who have been through it and launched something, you have picked one thing which then separates you from the 95% of people that will never do that. So picking one thing starts you on the journey. And when you're on that road, it's so much easier to kind of branch out into other roads. It's the taking the first few steps that's difficult. And for anyone that has already set up a business, you have done that. So that's exciting. If you haven't, come and join me next week and I will show you how to pick the perfect idea. Honestly, there's so many people that come back time and time again because it's just fun and happy and joyful and uplifting. And that's what I'm really looking forward to spending time next week with. Just enjoy. And it's so lovely. Hi, Alexis. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Ruth. Apologies, whoever this is. Hi. If you click on the StreamYard link, you might have done this because I know sometimes it glitches, but if you click on the StreamYard link, I should be able to see your name if you comment again. So apologies, but I can see everybody else's names. So yeah, thanks so much for coming along. I know this is a random time from 4 o'clock. So I've got coaching with my own coach from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It might, and sometimes it goes slightly over 6. And then at 6:30, I'm live for those of you that are in Start Your Happy Side Hustle. I'm live in the classroom. And then at 7, for those of you that are in the Hive, I'm live in the Hive. And then at 8, I know some of you are doing a masterclass tonight for a Pinterest challenge. I've also got a different masterclass tonight. I'm going to have to watch the Pinterest challenge on catch up between 8 and 10. So from 4 o'clock, the day just goes really mad. So I thought I would fit it in now. It's kind of addictive. What's setting up side hustles? I know, Liz, it's so, yeah, you're such a brilliant example of coming up with an idea and then going, okay, but I'll pivot to this idea. Oh no, there's someone at the door. Oh, hold on a minute. I don't think anybody else can get it. 1 minute. Hi, thank you. Well, there's an example of a real life in action. Some interesting. That doesn't look interesting. It is your mercy. Look at that. That's just come in. I'm assuming that's a reminder of my tax return, which I have already done. I've got a new bank card that I ordered because I put my last one in my back pocket and I've curved it. And a box. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so yes, so Liz, you're such a good example of coming up with, your original side hustle idea, which I know you're still going to go to, but then starting with a side hustle and then kind of branching out into something and then branching out into something else. And it's so lovely. It's so lovely to watch people on that journey. And it's so much easier. Oh, you mean my 5-day challenge is addictive? Yes, do referrals at all. My 5-day challenge. Well, yeah, I find it addictive. That's why I run it at least 4 times a year, because I don't know. It's just, and it's this bit. Do you know where I get most excited? It's this bit now where I know I'm going to make some new friends, and we're all going to make some new friends over the next week. And it's going to be a smaller challenge this time because my Facebook ads aren't working very well. But I think there's 220 people, I think, waiting to get into the Facebook group. I'm going to open it, I think, tomorrow morning early. I don't normally open it until later. I'm going to open it tomorrow morning because I've got friends coming around tomorrow afternoon and we're going to have sangria in the garden. So it's probably better that I don't be online after that. So I think I'll open it first. And then you love the infectious energy. Yeah, do you know, I'm getting texts, it's all go. Yes, the energy is infectious, and it's weird because it's really only me that's on video, but all the challenges I've done have had different energies. Like every week has been slightly different, and they've all been good, but some of them have been amazing, and some of them have been great. And now at this point, we're at the who knows what it's going to be like who knows, but I do know that I'm about to make new friends, and probably all of you are as well. So you're all invited. Like, if you've been before, please come again. Like if you would like to spend the week with us, please come again. You'd be so welcome. It's the same tasks, but sometimes when you're in a different headspace, a different you've kind of moved to a different part of your life because you're maybe in a different place in your side hustle journey. Sometimes you're going to hear things that you didn't hear before. And for those of you that have been before, you can rehear the story of Suzanne. Hey, Liz. I'm signing up again. The energy is very infectious. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Top tip to inspire me. Oh, that's so nice, everybody. Thank you. Well, that's brilliant that you're all coming, because you're all brilliant. So yes, if you know, well, you will know like-minded people. So hopefully, for those of you that have known me for a while, you know that Happy Side Hustle is all about the happiness. It's all about the energy. It's all about the it's all about exactly why you're saying you're coming back. It's the upbeat, infectious energy. If you know anyone else that might fancy a side hustle, or maybe hasn't even thought of a side hustle, but they would fit in energy-wise with our Happy Side Hustle community, please, please, please invite them, because the more people tend to have friends that are like them, and the more people that I can bring into the community that are like you guys, the better it's going to be. So the link is hpy.tips. So a abbreviated version of happy, hpy.tips/hustle, HUSTLE. If you wouldn't mind sharing that for me with anyone that you think might come along. Because if you've been before, you'll know there's no catch. There's just no quite often when I'm talking to people about it, they're like, I don't know, what's the catch? There's no catch. There's no catch. Well, the reason that I do it, there's two reasons I do it. I do it because I love it, and I love being the catalyst for side hustles and send that energy out into the world. But also, I hope that it allows people to get to know me. And if they ever feel that they do want any help with their side hustle, or they want to go through a program, or they want to join a membership or whatever, then they would consider mine. Because why on earth would they do that if they don't know who I am? They're not going to just see my picture on the internet and go, I know, I'm going to do one of her courses. So that's the ultimate kind of payoff for me at the end of it, but that's not what the week is about. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind sharing, that would be great. Anyway, what I wanted to say, I knew you were going to bring up Suzanne. I preempted you, or Liz. I knew you were going to bring up Suzanne. You can never hear too often about Suzanne. Like, I'm not joking, that Suzanne, I always, when I talk about her, I always say I must tell her this, and I still haven't. I should. I don't even know if I'm connected to her on LinkedIn or anything. But anyway, I might look her up before I start talking about her this week. But I mean, it's just sometimes just something really simple changes your life, doesn't it? And it, like, that Suzanne technique totally changed my life. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're like, who is Suzanne? Then you need to come to the challenge next week and find out, because I will talk about her. If you're saying, who is Colonel Saunders? Then you definitely need to come to the challenge next week. I suspect most of you know who that is. Right, I tell you what, this is what I want to talk about today. So I've done 11 minutes of not talking about the topic. Apologies. So I'm going to do this briefly. I was reading a quote this morning, and it really reminded me of something that I know, and something that probably most of us know, but it's really useful to bring it back into your consciousness. So to have it something that you're actively thinking about. So here's the quote I read. I've written it down over here. You experience what you believe, and you will believe whatever you repeatedly tell yourself is true. So you experience what you believe, and you will believe whatever you repeatedly tell yourself is true. So think about it. We all experience the world through a filter. So in your linguistic programming, you call that experiencing through your map of the world. So we experience things through our life experience, through our expectations. We can't focus on everything that's in front of us. So we're constantly making choices, and the choices we make on what to focus on are determined by what we believe. And what we believe is probably what we have been taught as a child, or what we've picked up as a child from our parents and from the authority figures around us. And what they believe was what they were taught or picked up as a child from the authority figures around them, and vice versa, all the way up through our ancestry. Just because your parents believed something, just because your teachers believed something, doesn't mean it's true. And it's so important to look at what is going on in your life that you don't love. So when something is bringing you joy and you love it, no need to question that. Just let it flow. But when something is happening for you and you're getting stuck, or it feels like an obstacle, I want you to check in with yourself and go, okay, am I experiencing this because of what I believe? So in the challenge, I know that someone is going to ask me next week. I don't know who's joining the challenge. I've no idea how it's going to go, but I know by Wednesday, someone's going to say to me, yeah, I wanted to sell jewelry, but it's a very saturated market, so I'm not going to sell that. I need to find something that's unique. And it's just so interesting, because what is that founded on? That is founded on a belief that if there are a lot of people doing something, you shouldn't do it. And I would flip that on its head. And I probably have thought, in fact, I definitely have thought that at one point in the past. I remember my neighbour saying to me, so she started making stained glass sort of crafts. They were lovely. She's moved away now. They were like, she's still alive, but she's moved away. But they were really lovely what she made. But I remember her saying to me, I said, oh, stained glass, like those are really lovely. And she said, yeah, I decided not to make jewelry because everybody told me it's really difficult to sell jewelry because there's so many people selling it. And I was selling jewelry at the time, and I thought, oh, right. And I was relatively confident in myself, but I just thought that was a funny thing for her to say. It wasn't like she didn't think about it. She just didn't think what she was saying. But I can understand. So someone told her, I don't know who it was, someone told her, don't sell jewelry because there's so many people selling jewelry. And it's just like, don't set up a hairdresser's because there's so many people that have hairdressers. Like, why are there so many people that have hairdressers? I know, because there's so many people that need their hair done. Like, just sometimes we're blocking ourselves in our side hustle because we've got a belief that's not helpful. So I want you to look at where you're in your side hustle journey. And if you haven't started in your side hustle journey, well, hey, you're in the right place. Come and make sure you've requested to join hpy.tips/hustle by tonight, because I'm going to open the group tomorrow and we're going to have some fun over the weekend. We don't actually start the learning until Monday. We're going to have some fun over the weekend, and there are going to be some prizes to win over the weekend. So if you haven't started your side hustle journey and you're like, none of this applies to me, I've not even got a side hustle, join my challenge next week and I will get you on. We will get you on by the end of the week. But if you have, and you're in any way blocked, or there's some obstacle, or there's anything that's just making you feel a bit off, I want you to go, okay, what belief is around this? What is it that I'm telling myself? What is it? What piece of advice have I taken here from somebody that might not apply to me? And it might be something that I've said. So maybe I've said something and you've thought, well, that doesn't work for me. That's totally fine. Like, that's totally fine. So there's a question that I'll talk about properly tonight in the Hive for those of you that are in the Hive. But one of the questions that's come up in the question post today is, no, in fact, it isn't that. It's lovely Sheila has just gone live in the Hive, and I've just watched the video before I've come on here. I don't know if you're on, Sheila. Your mother's an anti-vaxxer, for example. Yeah, exactly. And when you were a child, if your mum was telling you, and your mum probably feels very strongly about that, you would. So under the age of 7, you might know this, but under the age of 7, you just believe everything that you're told. 7 roughly. So you would have that in your head until the point where maybe, and you may never question it, you might just be a total anti-vaxxer. But for most people, there's a point where you go, hold on, I'm going to actually take in some wider opinions on this, and then I might still make the same decision, or I might make a different decision. But remember, like, other people who are sharing their opinions are not doing it to hurt you, or to, that those opinions will have been shared to them. And, so people pick up information kind of very differently. But anyway, back to Sheila. I was having to see if Sheila's on, but I don't think she is. Sheila was asking a question about, what does she sell? She's like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this, and I'm all over the place, and I want some help on what I should sell. And she's getting some good advice actually on her live post that she did. But what I don't want people to so I do say choose one. I say choose one at the end of the challenge. And the reason, I just want you to understand the reason why I say that. So I'm not saying that people cannot sell more than one type of thing. And are you back on? Yes, you're on. Cassie, to give you a shout out, 2 Happy Side Hustle shows in a row. Cassie's a brilliant example of going, well, I sell this, and I sell this, and I sell this, and I sell this. And you make it work brilliantly, Cassie. So it's not a rule that cannot be broken, that you can only sell one type of, not one thing as in only one necklace or whatever, but you can have lots of different types of side hustles. The only thing I would say is it sort of splits your attention. So the reason why I'm really strict on that in the challenge is sometimes by the time we get to the Friday, people go, well, I think I'm going to do this and this and this. And they've never set up a side hustle before. So if you pick 3 things, it's going to be 3 times as hard. Because if they're not the same, if they're the same target market, Yahoo, that's brilliant. But when they're not, you have to then do 3 times the amount of marketing. Everything is probably going to be a third of the success it would have been if you just focused on the one thing. So to make it easy, I say focus on one. But once you're starting to go down this road, there's absolutely no problem with going, well, I make kits, but I also, exactly the thing that Sheila was asking earlier. I hope you watch it on replay, Sheila. So yeah, go on, Cassie. You'll definitely be doing autographs after this one. So Sheila was saying, I could make kits, or I can make the actual crocheted things, or I could, and I think kits and the crocheted things sit beautifully together. I certainly wouldn't be saying, I haven't had time to reply to Sheila. I'm hoping she watches this, because I don't know if I'm going to have time to actually reply today. But Sheila, if you're watching this, my advice to you is just do both. Like both of those sit beautifully in an Etsy shop together. If you want to just pick one, I think Cassie gave you some really spot on advice around like start with the product and then work up to the kits. But I don't really see any reason why you couldn't have both. Oh, you're here, Sheila. Excellent. So I'm just replying to your video. So Sheila, I think have a shop that has the kits and the things that you make, because people will be attracted in 2 slightly different ways, but they sit beautifully together. Yes. So rainbows. Yes. So having that. So the easiest way to just have, when I say just have one thing, I mean have one theme. So yes, like rainbow products, that's a beautiful theme. It can be all things that are yellow. It can be all things to do with crochet. So kits and finished crochet items, they sit beautifully together. It's the example that I keep coming back to is my random example where I sell jewelry, but I also create personalized portraits on Photoshop for people. Those don't... They sort of sit together because the theme is personalization. So it's not like I'm just like, selling a picture that I've drawn, because I couldn't do that because I'm not arty the way some people in here are. And because that wouldn't sit together particularly well, I don't think. That would be 2 different markets and probably 2 different Etsy shops, and just twice the amount of work. But there's no reason why you can't just keep evolving and focusing on the next thing and focusing on the next thing. And as long as you're putting like your focus into something that sits together as a theme, then I think that's absolutely fine. Does that make sense? Sheila? Let me know. Yeah, she hits. Yeah. You sell an experience of expressing love. Yes. What a beautiful way to put it. An experience of expressing love. The problem is that I called my shop Feet of Jewelry. So we'll revisit that again next week for anybody that's coming back on the challenge, because that is, yeah, there's pros to having the word jewelry in your shop in terms of search. But when you start selling things that aren't jewelry, then it sort of means that you need to have a separate shop. And I've already got a shop for Happy Side Hustle and a shop for Theta Jewelry. So to set up a third shop is just going to be very complex. Anyway, back to the quote. You experience what you believe, and you will believe whatever you repeatedly tell yourself is true. When you're experiencing something that isn't bringing you joy, it's feeling like it's holding you back, it's feeling like some sort of obstacle in your side hustle, just check in and go, why do I believe this? Where has this come from? And is it true? And remember, if it's something like me saying choose one, it's not true. It's my opinion, but it doesn't mean it can't be done in a different way. So I don't want anyone to kind of go, oh no, this is what I'm trying to do is kind of share my experience and make it easier for you. But it doesn't mean to say that there's not another way to do it as well, because I'm not the oracle and everything. So don't feel like you can't do something, but just because I've said it. Like, ask me about it. Ask me why. I thought it'd be stuck with face scrubbies forever. No, and to be fair, I think when Kimba said that as well, I know you mentioned that in your video in the Instabiz week. I think what Kimba meant, unless I picked her up wrong, I think what Kimba meant is the one thing, it's just don't. So for me, I can't go, I am going to, well, mine feed nicely together because happy side hustle and my actual side hustle kind of feed nicely together. So I can cross share things. But at one point I had a hypnotherapy practice and I made garden plaques. Now those are very unconnected. So I think what Kimber was trying to say, and certainly like, I don't know, but I think that's what she was trying to say. But certainly when I'm saying that, what I mean is don't try and set up like a garden plaque business and a hypnotherapy practice at the same time, because your focus will be all over the place. Like just pick one, and it doesn't mean to say that you can't evolve into something else, a la Cassie. I'm good at Cassie. I think you should sort of patent that. There'll be some sort of Cassie catalyst. You know, there's something about Cassie caterpillar, butterfly, don't know. There's something about your evolution process that I think you probably need to trademark and we can use in the hive. You could sell it to us. Let's see. That's why I went for more general name. Yeah, I think that's really wise, Cassie. And that was totally the right thing for you to do. Because I honestly, every time you post, I'm like, oh, what's it going to be now? It's so exciting. Yeah, DIY kits are really popular. It makes sense now. Oh, good. I'm glad, Sheila. I'm glad. I just really didn't want you to feel blocked. And I know, like from doing that video, I know that you were, I just wanted you to say, like, don't let me put a rule on you that stops you from being creative, because that's the whole fun of it, isn't it? So thank you. Right, this show is going on for far too long. So let me just leave you with the quote again. You experience what you believe, and you will believe whatever you repeatedly tell yourself is true. If you're suffering any sort of block in your side hustle, just check in and go, where did that come from? And question it, and just see if you can change the belief to something else. And if you can, that's how you're going to move out of your stuckness and keep moving forward towards your side hustle goal. Okay, so depending on where you sit in the Happy Side Hustle community, everybody is invited to join in my free challenge. So, and as I say, I'm going to open the group probably tomorrow morning. So join in if you haven't already requested to join. hpy.tips/hustle. Share that, please, 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 for me. I'd be so grateful. There won't be any Happy Hustle shows next week because it'll be full on in the challenge. But I'll be back a week on Monday for the next Happy Hustle show. For those of you that are in the Start Your Happy Side Hustle classroom, I will be live in there at 6:30 tonight, answering your questions about week 7. Yep, I think it's week 7 we're on. Week 7, all the tasks for this week. So you've got a chance to have a good chat with me in there. And then at 7 o'clock tonight, I will be live in the Hive. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, there is a post in the Hive for those of you that are in, that's my paid membership group. But for those of you that are in there, put anything that's getting you stuck, anything that you're feeling like there's a wall in front of you, just pop the question down. And as I say, it's about asking me anything. You can ask me questions about Pinterest if you want, but I'm definitely not a Pinterest expert. All I'm going to say to you is probably jump into that social giraffe challenge and ask those women, because they're amazing. So yeah, pop your questions in there. Even if you can't catch me live, you'll be able to catch me on catch up, and that will definitely only last for an hour, because I know some of you are doing a challenge masterclass at 8 o'clock. So I will be mindful of the time and make sure it finishes for that. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, everybody, and hopefully I will catch most of you later. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.